Hi guys, welcome back to another edition of Learning the Tarot. And I'm Melissa, if you guys are not familiar with me. Today we're going to be talking about the Chariot. We're going to pick up with this card. And this is probably one of the most complicated cards to interpret in the deck. It's just really, frankly, full of contradictions. And so this is going to be a pretty quick video today because I have some other stuff I need to take care of. But I'm going to try to make this as simple as possible for you guys with this card. I would encourage you to go online and search for this card and do some additional in-depth reading on the different interpretations because it is a pretty complicated card to interpret. So, okay, well, anyway, we'll get started with it. So the card, let me flip the phone around here, so the camera around here so that you can see the card itself. So there we go. So this is the Chariot card. And if you recall the Fool's Journey, we've been going through the Fool's Journey. And I just want to read for you the Fool as he interacts with the Chariot. The Fool is close to completing what he has set out to create long ago, back when the magician revealed those tools to him. But enemies are now standing in his way. Devious human enemies, bad circumstances, even confusion in his own mind. There's no more forward momentum. He feels he's fighting just to stay where he is. Walking along the shore, watching the waves come in, he puzzles over how to defeat these enemies and get things moving forward once again. It is here that he comes across a charioteer. Standing in his gold and silver chariot, his black and white steeds at rest. You seem a victorious warrior, the Fool remarks. I feel beset by my enemies, unable to move forward. What should I do? First you must armor yourself, the charioteer strikes the chariot and then his breastplate with a gauntleted fist, making both ring out. Next you must focus on your goal. Where do you mean to go? What do you mean to do? The warrior nods to his beasts. Your steeds keep the wheels turning, but it is your control and direction of them that gets them to their destination. Dark and light, they must be made to draw in harmony, under your guidance. The Fool nods. That makes sense. What if someone or something gets in your way? The charioteer coolly meets the Fool's gaze. You run them down. Your aim is victory, and to be victorious, you must have unwavering confidence in your cause. Never question, never doubt what you're trying to achieve. Never lose your focus or your motivation. The Fool is impressed and inspired, but he thinks he now knows how to get past all the distractions and setbacks that have been keeping him trapped in place. Like a riptide in the ocean, he thanks the warrior. But before he leaves, the warrior stays the Fool. One thing more you should keep in mind, he said. Victory is not the end, it is the beginning. Remember that before you decide to enter that into any contest. So, on a very basic level, this card is about getting what you want. It is about war, a struggle, and then the eventual victory at the end. It's a hard-won victory, and it is a war. And so, that's kind of like on a basic level is getting what you want. This card, in general, is just full of contradictions, right? So he's wearing a sun, yet the sign associated with this card is Cancer, which is a sign of the moon. And emotions. This is a pretty hard card. It's about winning at all costs. It's about getting to your goals. It's not an emotional card, even though it's tied to the moon and it's tied to the emotions and it's tied to Cancer. This card's also about movement, yet as you see it on the card, it's just shown as a stationary chariot. So what this, with all of these opposites, we've got black and white lions. We've got, with all of these opposites, what this actually is a union of opposites. So this card, while we see a lot of contradictions, is actually about unification of those contradictions. So, just looking at the imagery on the card, we have two steeds, black and white, who are pulling in opposite directions. But the energy behind this card is that those two steeds can be made to go together. If you look at this chariot, with the two steeds, the driver, the chariot, the reins, the wheels, separate all these pieces, if you separate all these pieces, nothing gets done. The chariot can't run without the wheels. If it doesn't have the beasts to pull it, it's not going anywhere. So, separate them all out and nobody gets anywhere and nothing gets done. They all do their own thing. But when you put them together with the same goal, there's no stopping them. The chariot is on the battlefield. The chariot fights alone. It is one seat, one man, and it fights. The chariot is its own thing. It fights by itself. Yet it's a symbol of unification. If any part of the chariot is missing, it cannot go forward. So some of the words that I associate with the chariot card would be determination, leadership, confidence, unity of purpose, control, motivation. All of these things are needed, and this card is a call to all of those things. You see where you want to go, take up the reins, take control of the inner and outer forces, and you just direct everything forward. You just go. You're in control of the beasts. You're the one telling them where to go. You're in charge. And like a Cancer, like a crab, this card is also about being armored and being self-reliant. And so, this card might pop up if your querent is dealing with contradictions in life. Maybe they are surrounded by people who are arguing, or they're having conflicting feelings or a lot of feelings about different things, and they can't seem to get it together, right? So this card is a call to decide on a goal and take control. And the way that you do that when this card pops up is through confidence. This card assures success of the querent, but it also needs to provide a caution to the querent that your drive towards victory in the chariot, the chariot's goal is to be part of a battle, and the chariot's end goal is to win the battle. But this drive to victory can lead to this win at any cost behavior. And so it's just a little warning to your querent that winning isn't everything, that it really is only the beginning of things. Once you win, there's still a lot of work that needs to be done. And so, that is the energy behind the card. And let me just flip this around again. Hi. So that's the energy behind the card. And, we really are talking about getting what you want and doing it yourself, taking the reins, taking control of the chariot, controlling the beasts, having a control over those inner and outer forces, the dark and the light, that we see in our lives every day, and just headed straight forward for what you want. And, just like the story of the fool, if someone or something gets in your way, stay focused on your goal, keep marching forward, and they're either going to move or you're going to run them over. That's the attitude you have to have when the chariot shows up. So let's talk for a second about the chariot in reverse. So if the chariot pops up in reverse position, what we have on a very basic level is no one's going anywhere, right? So this card is upside down, the wheels are in the air, the driver has fallen out, the beasts don't have any land to run on. No one's going anywhere. The chariot's reversed. So we may see a situation where this card pops up and the querent is in a place where they just can't move forward. There's so much stuff sitting in their way that they just can't see a way forward. Maybe it could relate to where they were moving forward and now there's their plan has gone stale, or something has happened to divert their plan, and now they're not moving forward anymore. So on a very basic level, this card is about no movement forward, not having the power, not having the confidence in yourself. Some of those other trigger words that we had: determination, leadership, confidence, unity of purpose, control, motivation. You're lacking those things when this card pops up in reverse. In the upright, though, the card, as I said, wants to remind you that you are in control of this situation. You are the driver, and you need to take those beasts, and you need to take that chariot, and you have the ability to control all of this, and you have the ability to send to go forward in a unified direction with your chariot and with your beasts, and you have the power to make everything work together. So anyway, guys, I I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you subscribe so you can walk through the rest of the major and minor arcana with us as we go through and learn each of the cards. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. Have a good evening. Bye.